thanks for joining our show here again today.
Okay.
I know it's probably been a really busy day for you, NHL trade deadline, getting a lot of rumors out there, getting a lot of final stuff out there.
Yeah, it was a very, 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 very busy day with the deadline going on, rumors, text, all of that going on.
I'd see your phone probably got absolutely blown up, huh?
Yeah, texting all day.
Yep.
It probably actually did blow up.
Yeah.
So, end of the NHL trade deadline right now, who do you think are the big winners at the end of the day?
Well, right now, as we seen at the end of the deadline, the Sabres made a big deal with the Cassian, for Hodgson.
Yeah.
That deal. I like the Sabres part of it. I think the Sabres are winners. I think they did good for themselves. Would they get a first for Gostad?
They trade away a fourth and Gostad for a first rounder this year.
Yeah, so that's a win.
Yeah.
Like that. Even on draft day, they could use that first to do something else. You never know. Also, like what the Predators did. Like what they did, they actually probably took a step ahead of the Blues today. I thought them and the Blues basically were very sneaky contenders in the Western Conference. So I like what they did today. They added nicely. Also, the other winning team I thought for today was actually nobody in the East. Vancouver obviously did all right too themselves. They made another deal besides the one with the Sabres. They acquired who they acquired here?
Eriksson?
Yeah, the first deal, Paulson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when they got Paulson, that was a nice little move there. Because Ott was really their intentions was getting Ott from Dallas, but I guess the price tag was too high for that. So they they kind of took a little step back with Paulson, but he's gonna help. And if you're playing with the twins, with the Sedin twins, it'll be a nice little line there.
Now, you said there was a big trade that happened that didn't happen, that was very close to going down, involving Toronto. Can you give us some details on that one?
Yeah, that one was a very big trade that could have been done. It was probably a last-minute thing. What was going on was Burke was offered Bernier, goalie from the Kings, Dustin Brown, going back to Toronto, and Toronto, what the Kings wanted from Toronto was Grabowski, the goalie, Gustafson, and Shen, and the pick. I guess it was a number one. Could have been a number two. I didn't get the pick. They just said high pick, so it probably was a number one. Burke didn't pull the trigger. Burke decided to pass on it. That's what I hear.
I think he's crazy. I think that's a very good trade for the Leafs if that turned out that way.
Very well. Basically, I thought it was going to go down. That's why I had tweeted at first. There was a big blockbuster about to go down involving a Canadian team. I'm thinking that, Burke's no way he's going to say no on that. Maybe that first-round pick, maybe he didn't have confidence that they'd get in the playoffs. I thought by making this, if they would have made that trade, they would have definitely been a top 8 team.
Now, Rick Nash is apparently staying a Columbus Blue Jacket. Over the weekend, you say that he was pretty much done, that he was going to the Rangers. What happened on that end that it didn't end up going through?
There's a lot of things going on there. The Rangers, but I heard the deal looked like it was getting done Saturday, late Friday night, early Saturday. The deal looked like it should have been done. Then Columbus kept asking for more back, which was Krieger. They wanted Michael Del Zotto, and they wanted Krieger. Rangers weren't willing to give those two up. They wanted to give them Eriksson, their first-round pick from this year, that they made this year. I forgot the guy's name. and the number 1 pick that they have this year. And the Blue Jackets wanted more.
Wow.
I ran with it before I should have probably, and that's just basically get caught up in that sometimes. That's that. But the Rangers didn't make the trade, and they're probably gonna. My thing is, I think the Rangers would be eliminated in the first round if they play the Leafs. They play the. I don't know about the Sabres now. The Sabres made a nice deal. Sabres still need to show up some things on their back line.
Yeah.
But there's a few teams down there, they don't want to see the Rangers.
I mean, I feel like the East is pretty open. There's not any dominance.
Nah, not at all.
It's not like the West.
No, the West is top heavy. The East is basically the Rangers are a regular season team right now, in my opinion. I don't think they have a great power play. Obviously, they got a great goalie.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if your goalie, he can give up 2 goals, and the Rangers could lose in the playoffs because they don't have no schedule. I mean, Gaborik, all right, and Callahan, but in the playoffs, you know how tightly checking these games are.
Yeah.
And as we've seen with the Rangers in the playoffs the last few years, they can't score goals in the playoffs. Really haven't added nothing. Richards, if the Rangers weren't winning this year, Richards would be run out the city right now. He's been a bust. In my mind, he's been a bust.
I think that, for me, Richards is more about a change than anything else for me with the Rangers. And he seems like he's brought a change to them, like maybe in the locker room. Well, he hasn't produced that much on the ice. They do seem like a different team with him there, starting at center.
Exactly. I would think that if they would have did the Nash deal, that would have definitely made them the number 1 team out of the East. Even though they're number 1 now in regards to points and the standings, I'm talking about it in strength up front, on defense is an all-around problem. And without Nash, you could key on Gaborik line, and then you could shut down the Rangers.
Do you think the Bruins improved at all with their trade with the Islanders, or do you not?
No, not at all. I mean, hey, if they want it roasting, good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm a Devils fan, so I was fine with roasting going to the Islanders in the first place.
He still hasn't hit the net this year. So, so basically, he's in the other model. I guess he'll fill in if he gets some injuries on the back line. Those guys, it is what it is. The Bruins just might be on a honeymoon from last year's win. I don't like how they played the last 30 games of the year.
See, with the Bruins, like the other night when the Sabres beat them, I really wasn't impressed with the Sabres win because it seemed like the Bruins, they left their hearts in the locker room. They didn't really show the tenacity we know that they can show, and they showed it earlier in the season when they took out Miller, and it was like they were playing a completely different team. And quite honestly, I can't see the Sabres beating the Bruins in a playoff series. I can't see the Sabres beating the Flyers, or I think they might be able to beat the Rangers because I still think the Rangers are a little overrated, and like you said, a regular season team, but I'd still take the Rangers over the Sabres. So what do you think is wrong with the Bruins?
Bruins, I think basically they're hurt up front too. They have a few injuries up front. I think they've taken a step back on defense. Chara hasn't been the force he was last year. I think it's more of a mental thing with them. I think they're just in a holding pattern type. Like, hey, we know we're going to the playoffs. Regular season really doesn't mean that much to us. Let's just, finish out the string and then turn it on when the playoffs start. I think they're in that mode. They won it last year and they just think, we're not gonna go full throttle right now.
Let's just get back to the playoffs and do it from there.
Yeah, because they know, they don't really care what they finish second or third in the conference. I mean, who really cares? They know they could win a game in the Garden if they don't have the extra home game. They know they could win a game, in New Jersey, vice versa. Like, it doesn't affect them. So
right.
they're not like really into that whole, we gotta be number one. Like the Rangers are so, their fans are like, oh, we're number one in the conference. Oh my God, like We got to win. Like we're the best team. Like it doesn't matter. It's the NHL. This ain't the NFL. Like,
it doesn't matter.
It's not one
what you
game.
think.
It's 4 games at home, and the other 3 you have to go on the road anyway. So if they steal one at your place,
and in the NHL, as we all have seen, 1 versus 8, those upsets happen. NBA, not as much. NFL, very rarely number 1's going to get picked off. Unless it's the Jets beating the Patriots. But
or the Packers this past year.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. But you know what I mean. It's basically it's very,
NHL. It's probably more. It happens more often.
It happens. It's been happening for years. So
Yep.
I mean, it goes all the way back. I remember the Wings were number 1 a few times. I think the Sharks picked them off one time. It goes back to it goes a long time.
2 years ago, when we had the Flyers and the Canadiens in the Eastern Conference Final, that was a 7 versus 8.
Yeah,